What is going on, everybody? My name is Northy, and today we've got round 8 preview. Obviously going to be very, very late again. It seems to happen all the time, unfortunately, but we are going to try our best to get this video done as quickly as possible because for the most part there are very, very minimal changes. Just a few things I need to let you guys know as we head into round 8. Starting tonight, 7:30, Dogs versus Port, which is surprisingly going to be an entertaining match. If you had told people with the way that the season started that it was going to be a Dogs versus Port game that was actually entertaining, like last year's preliminary final was, a lot of people would kind of look at you a bit strange because obviously Port started off pretty poorly and the Dogs were considered grand finalists and would somehow bounce back, but no, they're kind of on the same level at the moment. Port Adelaide actually finding their way back up, but obviously it's going to be a fun game tonight. Nonetheless, we go over to Star Powers, and one question I need to answer is, where are the 2 Star Powers that you had recently got in the Super Jack Steele and the Future Bailey Smith? Well, that is where I have to admit that I'm an idiot. I'm not very smart, and I went to put the codes in on the back of the cards, and neither of them worked. I'm like, why is that? It didn't say anywhere on the selling or on the site that they hadn't been used, or that they had been used, sorry. So I went double checked, and hidden at the very bottom of the description was code has been used. So it did actually say it's been used. I was just too stupid to scroll down, so it's on me. It's on me. At least I got 2 really good looking cards, but unfortunately it just means I cannot use them. However, maybe a good thing with the way that our games have been going at the moment in the last 2 weeks. Obviously last week we came 6th with this team. Awesome, but we don't know whether it'll be the same. I think Charlie Cameron will be the best out of Indigenous and multicultural, obviously because Brisbane are playing West Coast, and West Coast don't look too good this week. I don't know if they'll even be able to play this week. Their coach is out and a load of their players are out. Who knows what'll happen? So it's looking like it's going to be a really, really tough game to watch, that Brisbane versus West Coast game. But here we go. We got ourselves the Luke Parker, who's obviously been playing really well. He's coming off the half-forward flank, I believe, this week against Gold Coast. And obviously Noah Anderson has been playing tremendous these last couple of weeks. He's been a huge help. Paddy Cripps, he's probably going to do more Paddy Cripps things. He and Sam Walsh have both been really consistently good this season. And Josh Kelly, I mean, he did really well last week. I don't know why I should take him out just yet. Hopefully he can kick a goal or 2, because I don't imagine he gets another 40 disposal week. If he does, I'm not complaining, but I don't see it happening. I think we're either going to have to really stack up on some Charlie Cameron points, or we're going to have to hope that Noah Anderson plays even better than 100. Luke Parker stays at 100. Who knows, honestly. I think Charlie Cameron is going to be a safe pick, I hope. Because obviously the teams in that haven't been announced for the Brisbane Lions just yet. Not enough has been announced, sorry. So an interesting looking week for Star Powers. But at the same time, I'm still confident. I still have hope that they'll be doing well. We go over the top 4, and the big change still seems to be the mid. I keep changing up the mid week to week. I can't find myself changing the forwards. I just can't convince myself to do it. Same goes with the backman, because if you guys are unaware, Nick Bloston has been pulled out due to illness. So he will not be playing in the game this weekend against Collingwood, I believe. So it'll still be an interesting game, I'd imagine, and Jack Crisp will still get his disposal, still do everything he does out there. He remains a consistent 100-point player for the most part, so he's usually a safe option. We'll see how that goes. Bailey Smith has well and truly dropped off since his massive game against North Melbourne, but Bontempelli is out this week. So Bailey Smith may be forced to pick up the pace a little bit in that mid to forward area. We'll see what happens there. And Max Gawn is Max Gawn. He's one of the remaining dominant ruckmen in at the moment. You can see here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 out of all the ruckmen listed were available. And so it's a little interesting what's going on at the moment, but hopefully things get a little better soon, because it's getting a little interesting right now. We go to our top 18 though, and again, a few changes mainly based around which teams are playing both West Coast and North. You can see Brayshaw, even after a bit of a disappointing performance, is still in. He comes up against North Melbourne this week, and so I'd imagine he gets a lot of the ball. And I put a forward in there. I put Rory Lobb. I was thinking about Michael Walters because Michael Walters is probably going to get a lot of the ball, I'd imagine, considering it's Fremantle and they're coming up against North Melbourne. Rory Lobb has been really, really impressive. I don't know if Taberner's back. I will need to double check that. Taberner is not back, so I'm not going to put him in there. But Rory Lobb, I think, is going to be a really, really good target because North Melbourne's back. Although Aiden Core is probably the only backman who's been doing somewhat impressive, it's a little interesting seeing just how much North will crumble in the back line. We'll see, but then a few extra changes here. We got Luke Jackson, who I saw is back. He's going to be back in the lineup, so I've chucked him in there. But two Brisbane small forwards here. We got Charlie Cameron and Zach Bailey. Zach Bailey has had some pretty good performances this year. He averages about 72 points, but obviously against the West Coast side, anything could happen. Realistically, anything could happen. It's a little scary, but we got Charlie Cameron and Zach Bailey in there. Joe Danaher is not playing. I believe he's out after getting injured last week, so he's going to be out of the lineup. And then we've got Lachie Neale in here. He's remained in here, but I think he's going to be a big player this week, obviously, for good reasons. But I've been second-guessing who to take out and put in, because I do think Zorko could be a good shout. But the only one I see taking out is Jack Steele, and I'm still not confident in that. Jack Sinclair is the only one I'm kind of within the back line. He's played pretty poorly as of late, and although his average is quite high, it's starting to slow down. You'd think as a backman you get more than one mark, so I'm going to have hope that he does a bit more this week, so I'll keep him in there. But most of the change is in the midfield and the forward line, except in the back line, we've switched out Vlosten for Short, because Short is going to be in, as he's just recently re-signed for 5 years, so congratulations, dude. Get that money. He's going to be very secure for the next 5 years, which is great to hear. But yeah, a lot of changes that you'd kind of expect, I think. A lot of Fremantle players, or a couple of Fremantle players in there, more than usual, and 3 Brisbane players in there, which is more than usual for me, because although Joe Danaher is in there, it's usually like a I don't know pick, but this week these two are very confident choices, and I think Lachie Neale will dominate. So this should hopefully get us a good score. We checked the ladder here last week, we came 29th. I'd like to see us get into the top 10. I really want to find myself getting a top 10 prize card this week. And obviously we want to get below rank 10. That's our aim for top 18. We got into the top 10 for top 4 last week, so hopefully we can maintain our spot. It's never easy once you get to top 10. You can see number 14 has 21.47, and so he's only less than 30 behind us. So we just got to keep it up. We got to hope that they drop off a little bit, but nonetheless, let's hope things go well for us. I'm hoping so at the very, very least. Again, there's some players I'd like to have in there, including the likes of Jack Steele, superstar power, and Bailey Smith, future star power, both in team. But unfortunately, there's nothing I can do about that now. It's just the way it goes sometimes. Nonetheless, the cards look nice. But we're going to go over to the tips here. I'm kind of confident doing them on the fly here. Port Adelaide versus Western Bulldogs at Adelaide Oval is the big question. Do the Dogs have what it takes to take him out at Adelaide Oval? I'm going to say yes. I think last year we kind of was shown that the Dogs, under any type of pressure, even at Adelaide Oval, can still beat them. And although Port are not bad, or as bad as we may have thought they were to start, I think the Dogs are still strong enough to do so. However, this will probably be my kind of gauge to see where the Dogs are at, because this game is going to be very, very important for them. If they can do what they did last year and beat them at Adelaide Oval, then I think there's still a sniff of them maybe being a premiership contender. I don't know if they lose tonight. I have no clue. But we go to Freo North. I want to say more, but I really can't. We go over to Richmond versus Collingwood. Now, this one could be interesting. A lot of exciting players for Collingwood at the moment. And Richmond get Dusty back this week. So that could be a huge motivator. That could be what lets him down. Who knows? And I don't want to say that Dusty's going to let him down. I'm going to trust Dusty. I think he's going to play absolutely amazing. But we go over to Sydney versus Gold Coast. I've put a lot of faith in Gold Coast as of late recently, but I think Sydney's the smarter option here. We go over to GWS versus Geelong. This is probably going to be a really interesting game. GWS nearly destroyed Adelaide last week. Kinda did, but at the same time, I think they still lost the fourth quarter, so GWS are yet to win a fourth quarter yet this year, which is crazy, at round 8. But I have a feeling that Geelong is not going to let him get that far ahead. So I'm going to say Geelong take this one. We go over to Essendon versus Hawthorn, and if you had told me that Hawthorn were the probably correct choice at the start of the season, I probably would have thought you were dumb, because Essendon obviously making finals and having the talent they do, I thought that they would be able to be at least the favourites, but they're not. Hawthorn are, which is crazy to think about. And I'm going to go with Hawthorn. I think Essendon haven't really shown me any reason to not pick them, or to pick them in general. This game really scares me. This has disaster written all over it. I'm going to say Brisbane because, like, unless a miracle happens, it's going to go Brisbane's way. Melbourne versus St Kilda. This one will be really, really fun to watch. Obviously, St Kilda coming off that loss last week by a point. It was an ugly game, and it just shows that St Kilda have talent and they have the ability to be really good this year. It's literally just them kicking themselves out of games sometimes. I love to make fun of Jack Higgins, but Jack Higgins actually hasn't been the worst one this year. He's been very poor in front of goal in his career, highlighted to me last year against Sydney, but he's actually been alright this year. Obviously, last week no one was alright, but against GWS, he was phenomenal. He was great. It's Max King who's apparently taken the heebie-jeebies, and now he can't kick straight. But I'm still confident Melbourne take it. I'm going to keep tipping Melbourne until they lose. I think that's where I'm kind of at, because Melbourne are just so good that they almost push themselves out of it. I think they have everything worked so well together that even when they're losing, you feel like they're going to win, or even if you feel like all the odds are stacked up against them, they're going to come out and win. They just feel like that dominant a team right now. And then we go over to Carlton versus Adelaide, and I'm going to say Carlton. I think Adelaide got very damaged last week. They omitted Matt Crouch, so he's not in the lineup for this week. I'm pretty confident Carlton will be taking this. However, I don't think Carlton fans should be too confident. I think Carlton fans do have a really, really nice side to barrack for, but I don't think this team is as rock solid as maybe we expected after the first couple rounds. But I think they have enough to beat Adelaide this week. So we'll see how these tips go. I'm still confident in the tips. However, I do hope this one goes North's way. I'd like this to be competitive. However, I feel like there's a 99.9% chance Brisbane flogs them. It's up to how much. It's up to how much they flog them by. If you are a fan of either team, go to that game. That will probably be a really historic night. Who knows? But I think it's going to be entertaining any way you look at it. Nonetheless, these are the tips I'm going to be going for round 8. Hopefully they go well for me. I'm not too sure whether my teams will be as successful as they were last week. This week is back to back. Probably not as confident as I was last week. And last week we managed to smash it. However, I don't know if my Star Powers team kills it yet again, or whether they kind of drift out. I think where it all happens is top 4 and top 18. I think this is where we're going to find our prize card this week, if we do get one. Thankfully, things have been going so well for Star Powers, but I do not see it getting too out of the world, out of the water crazy. I'm going to say I'm very, very happy with my rank 10 here. I'm going to screenshot it and probably going to brag about it for the entire weekend. and when the next week starts, probably not see my name up there. So, nonetheless, very, very happy with how it's all going for the moment. If you guys enjoyed this video and are excited to see how you guys do and tell me what your teams are looking like, be sure to let me know in the comments down below. Like the video if you enjoyed it, and subscribe to the channel if you are new. So thank you all so much for watching this video, and I'll see you all in the next one. Goodbye.